Hey y'all, it's your girl Jada J. No, we're not gonna talk about the elephant in the room that is my hair, alright? We're over it. We're moving on. I tried to make it look worthy enough for y'all, but I can't do it. I'm over it. Yes. Alright. Moving on. Alright, so we open hey everybody. Okay, so we open up with Betty. Now he's driving trying to get to his house. He sees the police, or 5-0, should we say. So he drives right on past, because first he's looking around, slowing down and everything. Then, he speeds up a little when he gets past them, calls Candace. He like, yo, the police is outside my house. She was like, what? He was like, yeah, what's going on? What's going on? So she was like, she did this. He's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? She goes, Veronica Harrington. He's like, wait, what? She was like, yeah, she told Jeffrey she was going to turn him in. He's like, oh my gosh. He was like, all right, I'm coming. She was like, wait a minute, did you open up the door for the police? Like, he was like, heck no, I drove right past him. She was like, what? He was like, yeah, I'm coming over, all right, I'm on my way. So then we switched to Quita. Now, Quita is sitting on, the staircase with the drink in her hand, all right? So Zena comes up. This is the new chick for this week. All right, we feel bad about what happened to Zena. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Then again, you don't do that. That you broke the. You don't do no snitching in the hood. That's just not what you do. You know what I'm saying? You broke the code. She said that to her too. She was like, you broke the rule. Anyway, let me not get ahead. So yeah, Quita's sitting on the staircase. So Zena come up, and so Quita's, what you doing here? What you doing here? So then Zena's like, come on, you know what I'm doing here. She was like, I'm sorry, and this, that, and this, and the third. And she was like, what you sorry for? She's like, come on, I'm sorry. What you sorry for? She was like, you gonna come and apologize? You don't know what you're sorry for? I gotta work on my Quita. So she's like, I'm sorry, talking about your brother. And then she's like, nah, that ain't what you sorry for. What you sorry for? She was like, come on, I just told you. She was like, I don't know, what am I sorry for? And she was like, coming over here asking about my brother. When I tell you he missing, you gonna try and tell me you trying to get with him? That's what you gonna do? She was like, look, I'm sorry. She was like, he just used to take real good care of me, and now that he's gone, I miss him. I don't know what to do without him and this. So Quita's like, I didn't know that. She was like, yeah, he used to take care of me and this, that. So she's like, please, Quita, please forgive me and this, that. She was like, come on, you know me, you know me since elementary. She's like, nah, I know you trifling. Girl, bye. Bye. She's like, no, come on, I'm sorry. Bye. She's like, all right, I'll leave. So she leaves. She's like, that girl got one more time. She said it to herself. She got one more time to come over here. One more time. All right. So I felt bad for Zena at that moment because we didn't know what was going on. I'm like, okay, what is this, Tyler? What's happening? So I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. We'll get to it when we get to it. Hopefully quickly. All right. Okay, so then we switch back to Candace at the. Wait a minute. Oh yeah. Okay. We switch back to Candace and Benny's calling her. He's like, okay, the police aren't outside your house. She's like, wait a minute, let me check. He's like, no, they're not. She's like, how do you know? He's like, I'm outside. Come open the door. So he comes in. They immediately start panicking. He's like, oh, snap, oh, snap. He's like, okay, so what's going on? She was like, I don't know, but Jeffrey told me that his mom was like, I'm going to turn you in. He was like, wait a minute, tell me exactly what did he say? She goes, something about his mom said that if he doesn't go to her house and propose to the girl, she's going to turn him in. He's like, okay, so did he do it? And she's like, yeah, he went. And so he's like, why didn't she go to the police then? And she's like, because she's a crazy bee. Do I really need to explain that to you? Like, do I really need to explain that? He's like, okay, so here's what's gonna happen. He's like, you don't know anything. You don't know anything. So she's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? He's like, let me think. How did you kill him? How'd you kill him? She's, what are you talking about? He's like, come on, how did you kill him? She goes, we stabbed him. He's like, how many times? She's like, I don't know. Why are you asking me that? He's like, because I'm going down for this. When they get here, I'm going down. She was like, what? He's like, no, I'm going down for this. She was like, no, you're not. She's like, I'll confess before I let this happen. You're not going anywhere. I'm not going to allow you to do that. He's like, Candace, we don't have time for this. Just stop. He's like, I'm going down. Like, he panicking in this head, but he's like, this is my sister. I loved it. I almost started to cry. I was like, yes, because we always knew they had a strong relationship. They have to for him to survive all of her lies. Okay, we appreciate Candace, but some lies she be telling even to Benny be getting on my nerve. Because Benny is that brother who, okay, yeah, I know my sister lies, cheats, steal, but that's my sister. I love her. So I don't know why she acts like when she tells him something, he's going to be like, oh, I'm over you. And even when he does say that, when he said that with the dead body, and we see he still got your back. Come on, Candace. So yeah, he's like, I'm going down. She's like, no, you're not. He's like, yes, I am. Come on, just tell me everything. Give me every detail. What's happening? Boom, boom, boom. Hello, it's the police. So he's like, oh, snap, Candace. And then it cuts to commercial. We come back. He's like, Candace, come on. You got to tell me you got to come. She's like, dang it. I got to go. I got to get to the door. He's like, no, don't answer the door. Please tell me that you're going to let me do this. You got to tell me. She was like, no, that's not happening. She's like, look, anyway, if they have a warrant, they're coming in anyway. So it really don't matter. He's like, oh, my gosh. So they both go to the door. She opens up the door. He's like, Miss Young. He goes, yeah, that's me. Then he's like, she goes, he goes, we're looking for Hannah Young. He goes, what the heck do you want on my mother? He goes, are you Benny Young? He's like, yeah, that's me. She goes, well, he goes, well, your mother was in the abduction of Quincy Dayton Young Jr. And Candace goes, and first of all, he goes, what? And then Candace is like, she kidnapped my son. He goes, your son? She goes, yeah, that's my son. So then he starts getting into all this. So then he asks Benny, and then yeah, he goes, you know, she kidnapped your son, and she goes, yeah, that's my son. He goes, yeah, she took him right out of county. So then he's like, wait a minute, what? Like my mother? Like, are you sure? So then he goes, sir, are you in that house up the street? He's like, yeah. He goes, is your mother there? He's like, no, I don't think she's there. I don't think so. And then he goes, well, we need to check the house. And he's like, why? She's not there. She's not. He's like, oh, but a second ago you just said you didn't know. That annoyed me. Like, come on, sir, let's not try and get smart. You know what I mean? But a second ago you said you didn't. We're over you. Okay. So then Benny's like, look, man, I made a mistake. She's not there. All right. He's like, sir, we honestly don't need your permission to search the premises. We have a warrant. We could. He's like, I'm just telling you, it's a nice house. We don't want to have to break down the door. Like, kind of like a low-key threat. So then Benny's like, okay, well, you have a warrant, so I guess, you know, let's go. So then he goes, well, do you mind if we search the premises here? So then Benny's like, no. All right, dude. Like, that's not going to happen. So she goes, hold on, Benny. She goes, I'm Candace Young, third-year law student. And do you honestly think I would be hiding my child in my house if I kidnapped him? Really? So then he goes, and that is your son. She goes, I just told you that that's my son. So then he goes, I guess there really is no need to search the premises. She goes, good answer. I said, okay. The bad chick came to life tonight. All right. Good answer. Like, you know how she does that thing where good answer. You know how, like, she does that to Erica. We're over Erica too. Is what they teach for next week. I'm over her. Well, Candace will do that thing where she's like, good girl, and kind of just, you know, she did that to the cop. I was like, okay, she's bad. She's bad. I'm over it. Okay, so then the cop, you know, he asked, he's like, would she hurt the child? So Candace says yes. And Benny goes, no. And she goes, yes, she would. Consider her dangerous. And he's like, Candace, stop. She would not hurt that child. He's like, and can we just drop the charges? And Candace is like, no. No charges will be dropped. And he goes, honestly, ma'am, it doesn't matter what you would say anyway. Like, it's a federal offense. She's going to have to deal with the law. So, I mean, that's just how it's going to go. So then he's like, okay, sir, could we please go look at the house now? And he's like, man, I told you she's not there. He's like, sir, please. So then he's like, all right, I'm going. He's like, Candace, but in the meantime, you need to call child welfare and speak to Miss, what is her name, y'all? I don't want to skip her name. Call Miss DeLong at child welfare. She was like, no, I'm not doing that. And then he's like, yes, you are. Do it. She's like, nope. And then he's like, I'll be back and you better do it. She's, no. You know, just that thing. So then we switch to Veronica's house. Jeffrey's pulling up. Okay, so by the way, that was a nice exterior shot. Just like a, you know, just a little thing. It was rainy and I liked it. Just context, you know. So yeah, Jeffrey's pulling into the driveway. That's a nice car. And so Melissa comes out in like this negligee. And Jeffrey's already annoyed because he's kind of looking like, okay, here we go with this again. Okay. So she's like, you know that witch is watching. So I suggest you get out of the car, come upstairs, and sleep with me. So then he's like, I'm not doing that, and you know I'm not. She's like, well, come on. And she was like, she's like, Jeffrey, I really don't have time for this. My dad has chemo today, and your mom is already hinting at the fact that she can't find her checkbook. Okay. So she goes, so please. Okay. So then he goes, I'm not doing that. She goes, get your ass out the car and come upstairs now. And then she walks in the house. So he gets up. Okay. And he ain't stupid. He ain't that dumb, at least. So they get in the house and we see Veronica in the mirror, you know, checking her hair over it. So then Jeffrey comes in. She goes, "Oh, hello, son." He's like, "Oh, hi, mom." She's like, "Well, you two look happy." And then Melissa goes, "We are." We're just so happy. So then she goes, "You two keep it down in there." She's like, "I don't want to hear that noise." And then she goes, "Oh, we'll keep it down. We'll keep it down." I was so over it. She goes, she's like, "Just try and keep it down, all right? Just, I don't want to hear that." So then she goes down the stairs, and they're continuing up the stairs. And they get in the room, and then Melissa's like, "That is so sick. That means she wants to hear it." And then she starts like, moaning Jeffrey's name, but nothing's really happening. And he's like, "Stop, stop. What are you doing? What are you doing?" And she's like, "She wants to hear her." And she's like, "Make some noise, make some noise." And he's like, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it." She's like, "Come on, I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm just asking you to make some kind of noise, make some noise." So then she keeps doing it. She keeps doing it. And he goes, "Melissa, stop." And she goes, "Yeah, that's it. Louder, louder." And he goes, "Oh, Wyatt, Wyatt." She's like, "Stop, shh, shh. Wyatt, oh yeah, please, more, Wyatt, shh, shut up, stop. Oh, Justin, oh God." She's like, "Shut up." So then she goes to look out the window, and she sees Veronica's driving off, so it seems like she didn't really hear it. And so she goes, "Stop." He was like, "What? It's just the truth." So then she comes back over there, and he's like, "This is pathetic." She goes, "You're pathetic." He goes, "No, I'm not the one pimping myself out like this. Now am I?" She goes, "Oh," she was like, "Give me another option, anything." He goes, "How much do you need?" She goes, "Let's see, the mortgage that your mother gave us coupled with what did she say? Coupled with my father's medical bills comes to about 1.9. Do you have that, Jeffrey?" I thought so. I don't either. So, and then she tries to kind of like come up on him, and he goes, "Stop. Like, what are you doing?" And she's like, "What is the problem, Jeffrey?" She was like, "Can't you just try?" She's like, "I'm not a monster. I'm not an ugly girl. I'm not ugly." She goes, "Am I ugly? Am I ugly?" He goes, "No, you're not." She goes, "Then come on, why can't we just try that?" He's like, "I'm gay." She's like, "I know that. I know. I'm just saying, like, can't we just try? Can't you at least be nice to me? Like, that's all I'm asking for. Like, can't you just be nice? You can't even be nice to me?" He's like, "I'm sorry, no, I hate this situation, all right? So I'm not going to be nice. It's unfortunate that you're involved in it, but I'm not going to be nice to anybody in this situation. Like, it's just not going to happen." He's like, "I don't like being bullied or tricked into a situation." Okay? So he was like, "I'm sorry that you're mixing the shoes." Like, "Yes, I am. I'm a part of her web too." And he's like, "Yeah, by choice." And she's like, "No, not by choice." And he goes, "How could you really say that?" And she goes, "You don't think my mother's been pushing this?" She's like, "I'm just as trapped as you are." So I kind of wish that Jeffrey would kind of just be more like, "Okay, let's devise a plan. In the meantime, yes, we need to fake it out and then like devise a plan." Jeffrey's so heck bent on hating her. And then, again, so she's like, "Can't you just be nice to me?" She's like, "We don't have to kiss. We don't have to be lovers. I just want you to be nice to me." And he's like, "Let's see. You tricked me and got pregnant." She goes, "Yes, I did." And he goes, "Now," what did you say to her? He goes, "And now I have to get engaged." And she goes, "Yes, you do." He goes, "Yeah. So good luck on me being nice to you." And he walks out of the room, and she just, sits on the bed and is kind of, she's still going to do what she needs to do, which I get. At the same time, we just need to get Jeffrey on board. Okay? Because y'all know I'm writing for Jeffrey. Tyler didn't want anybody to know, but it's out of the bag now. So I'm writing for Jeffrey. I do his wardrobe most of the time, but I was not responsible for this shirt, the pants and the shoes. However, so I had to, they called me, so I had to go. But so they ended up just doing the shirt, and I says, "Look," after it was already out, I call my stylist. I say, I didn't have you put that shirt on him. Like, I didn't do that. What's the problem?" So I had to fire my stylist. Oh, she said I can't. Okay, but I didn't say her name. So she did some kind of lawsuit to where I can't even say my style. Are you threatening a lawsuit again? You work for me. Okay, you're walking on eggshells now. Do you want your job? Don't ever do that again then. No. Take everybody and be out. Peace. Take the back door. I'm over it. We just got rid of the lawyers tonight. Yeah, we just got rid of the lawyers. We're over them. Oh, yeah. No paychecks. I won't be sending you your last paycheck, so don't wait. Okay. So, then we switched to Benny. You might want a lawsuit against you. All right. Then we switched to Then we switched to Benny. Okay. So they did have to check the house. So the officer comes downstairs. And so Benny's like, man, I told you she wasn't here. He's like, and thank you. So then he goes up to him. He goes, here's my number. He was like, man, you know I'm not gonna use that. Get up out of here. He's like, you'll be breaking a law if you don't. He's like, man, you know I don't care about none of that. That's my mama. He's like, let me tell you something, son. Okay, there's a lot of officers out there that don't take too kindly to kidnapping, and they love to be the hero, even if it's from a grandmother trying to save her child. You know, they will shoot her down. He goes, if one of your clowns hurts my mama. So he goes, look, son, I'm just trying to tell you what could happen. He goes, yeah, get out. He goes, all right, here's my number. He goes, yeah, right. Good luck with that. Bye. So then he's like, okay, son. He was like, he was like, I tried to help you. I tried to help. He's like, all right, try and help me from the other side of the door. Bye. And Benny's really giving it to him, like, just be out of here. You know what I'm saying? So the officer finally leaves. Benny about to call somebody, but then gets off the phone because he sees they got a cop outside staking out the place. So he's like, okay, this how y'all want to play that? This how y'all want to play? They was even following him. So then we switched to Catherine. The police, the same officer is there interrogating Catherine. So he's like, well, would you have any idea what she is? She goes, no, I don't know. She doesn't work for me anymore. And then she goes, but have you been to her house? I think she has a house on Willow. He goes, yes, ma'am, it burned down. She goes, oh, wow, I didn't know that. And he's like, were you too close? She goes, she was my maid. How close we could be. I barely knew her. So then he goes, well, if she calls or anything, she was like, I don't think she would call here kidnapping a child. She goes, I mean, that's ridiculous. And you know my husband's a judge, and he would definitely arrest her ASS if he wasn't locked up himself. So then the phone starts ringing. And she's like, excuse me, that's my phone. So, bye-bye. So then he's like, oh, yes, of course. And he leaves. All right. So I said, okay, Miss Catherine, go ahead. Because she was really acting like, oh, I didn't even know the house burned down. Well, we know she was there the day that the house burned down. She was there with Hannah. So she gets the phone. Call and collect, Do you accept the charges? Yes. Okay, so then it's Jim. So he's asking her, he goes, have you gone to see Wyatt? Yeah, have you gone to see Wyatt? She goes, no. He's like, could you please go check on him? Like, you need to go see him. And then it says, this conversation will last 2 more minutes. And he goes, you hear that, Catherine? You're talking to an inmate in county jail. Speak up. And then he goes, you need to go down there and see him. He goes, look, I can't see him, but I've sent Hannah. He goes, look, I don't want Hannah's account. I don't want David's account. I want my wife's account. Is that too much to ask? He was like, now you will get your asses down there. She goes, who the heck do you think you're talking to? He goes, Catherine, look, just get down there and go see him. She was like, you know what? Go see him your dang self. And hangs up the phone. She goes, son of a witch. Like, you messed up and tried to yell at her. And so then she hangs up the phone. And he's like, Catherine. She was already gone. All right. So now I want to point out that when the officer left, she was kind of eyeing upstairs. So I figured Hannah was up there. All right. And even just by what they teased last week, we knew she was in there. All right. But that was definitely the same. So then we see Hannah upstairs. Catherine comes up. And she goes, you are off your rocker, kidnapping this child. She goes, I know, but I couldn't do it. And so then she's like, your daughter is one piece of work trying to put this precious thing in foster care. She goes, I know. She was like, that child of yours. She goes, I know. Tell me about it. So then she just up there. So she is laughing. Okay. So Catherine is just having a good laugh. She goes, I mean, I'm sorry for bringing all this to you. I know you can get in a lot of trouble. She's like, girl, have you been around here for the last couple of weeks? She goes, yeah, I know, but still. And she's like, no. And she goes, this is actually kind of funny to me. She goes, Hannah Young on the run. And she starts dying. They both start laughing, but then Catherine is really, like, dying. So Hannah's like, could you, like, stop? This is not funny. Like, I could go to jail. And she goes, well, I can't go see Wyatt today, right? And she's like, yeah. So then it gets into this whole thing where she's now talking about the DA. And she's like, when I walk into that hospital, I know what my son is going to look like. She goes, but when I come out, I don't know what kind of mother I'll be. And so she's like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you saying? She goes, that DA gave my son the money knowing he was a drug addict just to get to Jim. So she's like, you're not going to do anything crazy, are you? She goes, no. She goes, good. She goes, not intentionally. She goes, Catherine. She goes, wait a minute, Hannah, did you do this intentionally? She goes, no. She goes, then I don't think you're the one to counsel me right now. She's like, that makes me feel really bad. And she's like, Hannah, please. She's like, no, I do have to go give him back. I have to take him back to the hospital. And Catherine is like, you will do no such thing. She's like, I have to. She's like, no. What you're going to do now is make sure this child gets some sleep. You're going to stay here and get comfortable. And that's what's going to happen. And she goes, I could deal with a lot of things. And she was like, you could deal with something that's done to you. She goes, but when they put loaded guns in your child's hands, and then she goes, I shouldn't have used that analogy, since Amanda did what she did. So it kind of hit a spot on her. And then she was like, this is just like those lawmakers and lobbyists, letting the insane buy guns. So it was just a lot of, I'm going to go in the hospital, but I don't know how I'm going to go in the hospital as me, but I don't know what I'm going to come out as. I'm going to go in the hospital knowing how my son is going to look, but I don't know how I'm going to come out the hospital after that. I don't know what kind of person I'll be. Okay? Just remembering what she did. She goes, I don't know who was going to emerge from the hospital. And so then again, she's like, I'm sorry. And so then she starts laughing again because she's like, I'm trying to picture you running out of the hospital with this baby. And she's like, I had to will my legs to move. And she's like, well, I'm about to will my legs to go get dressed because she said she's going to go see Wyatt. Because she goes, I can't. She goes, well, you should go, though. And she's like, oh, is he looking better? And she's like, yeah. She goes, okay, then I'm going to go. So she does end up going to see her son. And she goes, are you kidding me? Like, when she's apologizing, she's like, you know how long I've been waiting for the great Hannah Young to make a mistake? She goes, I make a lot of mistakes. And she goes, none that will, like, have you end up in jail. And so she's dying. And then Hannah's like, that's not funny, So then we switch to the tow yard. Benny's coming in, pulls up on Mitch. Mitch is answering phones. He's like, man, the phone's just ringing off the hook. He's like, man, yo, can I use your phone? Can I use your phone? He's like, and what's with that cop? Like, what's all? He's like, does this have something to do with that lime and stuff that you had the other day? He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, you know what I'm talking about. So Benny's like, man, I told you, like, I'm not talking to you about that. Like, just mind your business. He's like, that's all I know. He's like, but I need to use your phone. He's like, all these phones around here and you want to use my phone. He's like, look, my phone might be hot, pointing to the police outside. He's like, oh, for real? He's like, yeah. So he's like, here you go. He's like, what the heck is this? He goes, it's a bat phone. He's like, what you doing with this? He's like, look, don't worry about it. Just use the phone. He's like, we need to talk because you know way too much about this. So then he's like, yeah, whatever. Just use the phone. So he's like, Mom, look, call me back at this number. All right, Mom? It's Benny. Call me back at this number. So he gets off the phone. He's like, man, what is going on? He's like, look, nothing. Just mind your own business, please. So he's like, all right, you gonna figure out that I know how to get things done. So you might want to let me know. He's like, look at all them toes on that board. Why don't you go get some of those done? Okay. So Mitch is up out of there. He calls Hannah again. She finally picks up. And he's like, Mama, he's like, what the heck is wrong with you? Like, what were you thinking? She's like, I don't know. I wasn't thinking clearly. He's like, where are you at? She's like, I can't tell you. Like, I don't want to let you know. You might end up telling on me. Okay, she didn't say that. Well, over it. So she's like, so he goes, look, just go to Candace's house, apologize, tell her it was a misunderstanding, and give the baby back. She's like, she's not going to listen to me. She's not going to do that. And he goes, how do you know? What are you talking about? She goes, not unless you sue the criers. He goes, what are you talking about? She goes, she told me she was not going to let me have that baby until you sue the criers. He goes, she said that? She goes, yeah, ask her. He goes, all right, I'm over there right now. She's like, no, forget it. I'm wrong. She's like, I'm going to bring her the baby. He goes, how? She's like, I'm about to get on the bus. He goes, Mama, your picture is everywhere. You won't even make it a mile. She's like, then I'll borrow Michael's truck. He goes, Mom, just let me come get you. Just where you at? She's like, no. Listen, I'm going to be there, all right? Just don't worry about it. I'll be there. So then we switch to Quita. Okay, so now these guys come up on her, and they're like, we need to talk to you. So she's like, where y'all been at? They be like, we was at Veronica Harrington. So she's like, what you doing there? It was like, man, checking the place out. He's like, and we found these tapes. So then Zena rolls up, and the dudes, they get quiet. So again, she's like, what are you doing here? Like, what is wrong with you? So she's like, bye, like, get up out of here. Get up out of her. That was Quita. Get up out. Okay, I lost it. I had it, I lost it. All right. So then she's like, come on. I said, I was sorry. So then the one dude, KK is his name. He's like, nah, just let her stay. So then the one dude, he's like, come over here and sit down. So Zena's like, nah, I'm good. He's like, I said, come over here and sit down. So she's like, all right. So she goes, tell her you sorry. She goes, I'm sorry. She's like, tell her again. She's like, I'm sorry. I was like, what the heck is this? So then the dude rips her shirt open, and Quita's like, what the heck is going on around her? So then she's like, she wearing a wire. She's like, no, I'm not. They lying. He was like, girl, we see it right there. She's like, give me your gun, KK. Give me your gun, KK. She's like, no, no. She's like, I'm about to pistol whip this. So then she's like, no, no. She's like, all right, who listening in on us? Who is this? She goes, nobody. She's like, you better tell me. So she's like, all right, it was Veronica Harrington. Veronica Harrington, why the heck would she have a wire on you? She goes, ever since Quincy got out of jail, she wanted me to keep tabs on him, and instead she wanted me to be around here talking to you, see if you knew anything. She's like, what are you talking about? She's like, I don't know. That's all she told me. That's all she told me. How long you been doing this? Since Quincy got out of since she got Quincy out of jail. Got Quincy out of jail? What? He was like, man, got him out of jail. I was wondering how he got out. He was like, y'all think he working with the DEA? And then she was like, nah, man, shut the heck up. You know my brother ain't working for no DEA. She's like, did you ever say that again? So then he's like, I don't know. He was like, I don't know. The other dude was like, I don't know. The pen do be changing people. And she like, what I tell you? I'm going to have Q come take you out when he get back here. So then she's talking to Xena again. Xena just like, look, I don't know anything. I don't know. And then the one dude kind of throws in this thing where she's like, you got anything? She asked the guys, Quita goes, is anything on the tapes? They go, nah, it was just small talk. And he goes, in her messing with Marco in the back of the truck. He's like, you forgot to turn it off, girl. So then she's crying and all that. She's like, Quita, please, I'm sorry. And so she's like, I'm about to go get rid of these tapes. So here's what I say with Xena, okay? I was not expecting this at all. So this was like just that. Tyler's killing it. I'll say it like that. Tyler's killing it, okay? So, but Xena tells him, she goes, she also wanted me to keep tabs on Candy. She goes, Candy? What she wanted you to keep tabs on her for? She goes, I don't know. She didn't tell me something about she had something on her. I don't know. She goes, where's my brother at? She was like, did she pay you to do something to my brother? She goes, no, I swear I don't know where he is. I don't know where he is. I can't even find him. I'm supposed to be keeping tabs on him. I can't find him. She's like, you sure you ain't do nothing to my brother? She's like, yes, I didn't do anything. She's like, yeah, well, I'm going to find out real quick. So then she goes, where is he? She goes, I don't know. So then she goes, so in KK, he's like, what you want us to do with her? She goes, who? He goes, her. She goes, her who? She goes, give me them tapes. He goes, Xena. She goes, Xena who? She goes, that's what I'm going to tell the police. Xena who? So she's like, no, please, because she already knew what she was talking about. She was like, I'm going to get rid of these tapes, and you going to get rid of this girl right here. She's like, no, please, Quita, please. She's like, girl, you broke the rule. You got to go. So then she's like, get her up out of here. So they take her off, and she's just like, no, Quita, please. And she ain't got no remorse. Quita just went up the stairs. The guy's on the stairs up there laughing at her. I'm sitting up there like, really? I mean, she was wearing a wire, so like, what was she thinking? And then the shirt that you had on too, like, it was nothing underneath your shirt. You ain't even got a shirt under the shirt just in case. Cause you gotta think ahead. Maybe somebody might snatch my shirt off when I'm walking up the street. Let me have on an extra shirt, a tank top at least. You know what I mean? Just nothing. Just we see boob and bra, and then bam, there's the wire. I'm over it. Okay. Then we switch to Katie. I mean, oh yeah, I call Catherine Katie, but I don't do it on camera because I don't think people know who I'm talking about. So Catherine, but when I do my notes, I call her Katie. So then we switch to Catherine. Okay, so she's with Wyatt at the hospital, and she goes, looks like he's sleeping. The nurse is like, yes, he is. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know anybody was here. She's like, I'll just be here for a minute, And she goes, who are you? She goes, oh, I'm his mother. And she goes, he asked for you. And she goes, really? She's like, yeah, he's been in and out for like the past 2-3 days. And she goes, he always asked for me when he was in trouble. She goes, his first words were mom. And she goes, oh, really? They're usually dad or whatever. So then Catherine grabs his hand and she's like, will my baby be okay? And she's like, yeah, he's doing great. We're keeping him medicated. And, his seizures are really subsiding. He's getting better and better every day. And she goes, he's lucky. And she goes, and then the nurse is like, ring if you need anything. And she leaves. She was like, you are lucky. She's like, that's why I named you Wyatt. She goes, my wild, wild west baby boy. She goes, I went to labor early in Wyoming on a ski trip. She was like, you fought then. Wait a minute. She's like, you came out fighting and you're still fighting now. She was like, you have to do everything on your terms. I thought this was a very cute moment between them, even though he was asleep. I really liked it. She goes, you have to do everything on your own terms, even your entrance into this world. All right. And she goes, now you see, like, I wasn't holding your inheritance, to be to be mean or anything. I was holding it to protect you from yourself, you know? So she was like, all I ever wanted was to love you and, you know, for you to love me. And it's just a very emotional scene, very much. And then she kisses him on the forehead. It was very emotional. I tell you, give her an Emmy. Okay, all the actors on the show should already have Emmys. Two at the very least. Okay, so then we switch to David. All right. So Brandon or Oscar comes in, and he's like, "Look, he's like, I gotta get out of here." David's like, "What you talking about?" He was like, "I was followed last night." He goes, "By who?" He's like, "The list is, man, the enemies I got. The list is too long." So he goes, "But I found this in my car. No fingerprints, no numbers, no codes, no nothing. But it did have a tracking app activated." So he's like, "So you're being tracked?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "So they followed me home." He's like, "So they know where you live?" He's like, "Well, not exactly." He goes, "I have a mark." And he was out of town, but his wife and kids were home. So I go in the house and I say, "Daddy's here." And the kids come out saying, "Daddy, Daddy." So he's like, whoever that was thinks that I live there. So I guess he staged it because he knew somebody was following him. I'm not sure. Um, so then he goes, and the guy's name. So he goes, then I sit down and have dinner with him. Then he goes, and the guy's name was Brandon too. And then David goes, "You are good." He's like, so he's like, "So how about you, man? How are you?" He's like, "I got a lot on my mind." Veronica comes in. He's like, "Hello, I'm Jonathan Thomas." She goes, "I'm Veronica." He goes, "So David, if we're not gonna be able to fix that leak, I'm sorry, you're not gonna be able to get the deposit back." He goes, "Of course, thank you, Jonathan," and he leaves. So Veronica comes in, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "I should ask you the same question, dear. What are you doing here? Reminiscing of what could have been the governor's mansion, Maggie Day." She goes, "Since I'm here, I thought I should run you down memory lane. Isn't this what you like?" I'm over it. So then he was like, "Get your crazy ass out of my office." And then so she goes, "So you did it, got the divorce papers." And she goes, "On the day of our son's engagement party, you filed divorce papers." He goes, "Yup." And she goes, and because I guess she was acting like she was hurt by it. So he's kind of like, and then she said the engagement party. So then he's like, "You're the one with the most confusing creatures ever." He's like a like a complex, multifaceted diamond. She goes, "Thank you for the compliment." He goes, "That wasn't intended as a compliment." He goes, "See, a diamond is formed out of the most common coal. All right." And she goes, he goes, "But the hardest of the hardest of stones become diamonds." And she goes, "Sounds like a compliment to me," or something like that. And he goes, "Yes, flawed." So David was really getting it in on her, and he actually kind of got the last word on her. I was surprised. I said, "Okay, David, all right." So then he gives this other thing, and he goes, "Might as well save the process server and myself a trip." So it's a restraining order. So she goes, "Well, I'll grant yours, but Jeffrey lives with me, so it'll be difficult." He goes, "Oh, no, no, no. I'm not trying to protect him from you. I'm trying to protect you from him. Because he's going at the rate he's going right now, you keep pushing him, oh, he will kill you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right." So then she's like, "So I take it as you're not coming to the engagement party? You're not?" She's not coming. You're not coming to the engagement party? So then he's like, "No, I'm not." He goes, "But in the meantime, you might want to remove all the sharp objects off the table. Maybe finger food is a good choice for all of the males." And so she goes, "Goodbye, darling," and just leaves. So I guess that was supposed to be it. I'm over it. David had her this time. All right. Because the Jedi right, L. David parts. Okay. Moving on. So then we switch back to Candace. Benny comes in through the back door. And so she's like, "What the heck are you doing coming in through the back?" He's like, "I'm trying to slip to the cops. They follow me. They think I'm coming to see mom." So she like, "What?" She's like, "Well, do you know where she is?" He like, "Nah." She goes, "Did you speak to her?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, what did she say?" He's like, "Candace, look, just go down to child welfare and tell them that, you're going to give mom custody." She's like, "No, I'm not doing that." And he goes, "Why? Because you want me to sue the criers?" And she goes, "Oh, she told you." She's like, "Yeah." He was like, he was like, "Why is that your business anyway?" He's like, "I got to tell you." She goes, "That I bought for you." He goes, "Oh, no, you don't want to do this when you want to tell me where you got all that money from, how you got it." She's like, "Oh, so you're perfect?" And he's like, "What?" She was like, Mr. Veronica Harrington." She's like, "You please go get checked." He's like, oh, what the heck is she? He was like, you go get checked. She's like, no, you need to get checked. Then she was like, who's that at the door? He's like, that's mama. Then she was like, I'm calling the police. He was like, no, you're not. And tried to snatch the phone. She's like, yes, I am. He's like, what are you doing? Give me the phone. He's like, mama, come in. Because he thought it was her. It wasn't. It was Lloyd Bowman. So Lloyd comes in, and because at first Benny didn't know who he was. So he's like, who are you? And he goes, I'm Lloyd Bowman. And Candace is like, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm here about the loan in the 2 houses in the tow yard. And Benny is like, what? Next week on the Haves and the Have-Nots, you guys. So this episode was fire. I'm excited for next week. I'm ready. Everything's coming. He's even showing Benny the signatures. Is this your signature? I'm ready. I'm telling you, y'all. I'm telling you. This is really about to be everything right now. So, and then I want to go backtrack just for a second. Because Benny was telling her, he was like, if you don't say anything, they're going to try and put her in jail. They're going to try and put her in jail. She was like, well, she shouldn't have kidnapped my son. So yeah, that was the episode, y'all. I think the finale is gonna be fire. I'm not hoping for any cliffhangers, but y'all know how Tyler does us. I can't remember, y'all. Haves and Have-Nots is coming back September the 13th. Queen Sugar is about to be starting up. I might be reviewing that. I gotta see. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate it so much. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in for the show and this. I gotta get the chopper because you know that I'm on my way out. It's your girl Jada J. Peace.